All right, let's get those blenders whirring. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of blender operators. Those folks behind all those yummy flavored waters we all love. Think you got what it takes to really whip up some career success in this field? We're here to help with a deep dive into some awesome resources from RoleCatcher.
Yeah.
Career guides, sample interview questions.
Oh, nice.
And we'll even take a look at how their AI tools can give you that edge in your job search.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So,
It's a really interesting field, especially now with just the demand for those unique and healthier beverages.
right.
It's not just about mixing anymore. Blender operators are really key in making those delicious, low-sugar, natural-flavored drinks.
Yeah, those are the ones people want these days.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we get into those interview questions,
Okay.
let's paint a picture of what a typical day looks like for a blender operator.
Okay.
I mean, it's got to be more than just pushing buttons, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
A blender operator manages that whole production process. Wow. You're handling all kinds of ingredients, sugars, juices, syrups, even those super complex natural and artificial flavors.
Right.
It's a really hands-on role where you're ensuring the quality and the consistency of all those thirst-quenching beverages we all love.
I mean, everyone loves a good flavored water these days.
Yeah.
True.
Right.
All right, so let's say you're prepping for your first blender operator interview.
Okay.
What are some questions you might run into?
So one of the most common ones is, tell us about your experience operating a blender.
Okay.
It sounds pretty straightforward, but there's definitely a strategy to answering even those basic questions.
Yeah.
It's not just about listing off, what you've done.
Right.
You want to really showcase how familiar you are with the equipment and your comfort level with the entire process.
Yeah, so if you've worked with those big, large-scale industrial blenders, you want to make sure they know that.
Exactly.
Right.
To show you can handle the volume.
Exactly.
And, even if you haven't worked with blenders specifically, think about those transferable skills.
Right.
Have you worked with other food processing equipment?
Yeah.
Have you followed, strict recipes or safety protocols?
Right.
Frame your answer to show those skills that are relevant.
Okay.
And RoleCatcher's AI can actually help connect those dots.
Oh, wow.
It can align your experience with what's in the job description.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get a little bit trickier.
Okay.
What about something like, how do you ensure the blender is operating safely and efficiently?
Okay, so this one's all about showing that you are aware of those safety protocols and that you can optimize that blending process. Don't just say, oh, I follow the rules.
Right.
You want to give specific examples like how you inspect the equipment,
Mm-hmm.
how you adhere to the guidelines for handling the ingredients,
Right.
and even any techniques you use to prevent jams or malfunctions.
So you're saying something like, I always make sure that the lid is on tight before I start it up,
Yeah,
and I add ingredients in the correct order to prevent clogging.
exactly.
Okay.
You can even talk about proactive things.
Okay.
Like, I regularly clean and do maintenance
Yeah.
to prevent those problems in the first place.
Okay.
Interviewers are looking for those people who go above and beyond.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one from RoleCatcher's sample questions.
Okay.
Feels like a real curveball to me.
Okay.
Tell us about a time you had to troubleshoot a blender that wasn't working properly.
Oh, yeah.
How do you even answer that?
So this is a classic behavioral question.
Okay.
They're trying to see your problem-solving skills,
Mm-hmm.
how you deal with those unexpected challenges.
Right.
So instead of just saying, I fixed it,
Right.
you want to walk them through your thought process.
Okay.
What was the problem? How did you figure it out?
Okay.
The steps to resolve it?
Yeah.
And what did you learn from it?
So if the motor was overheating,
Yeah.
you could say, well, I checked the manual and I found that the ventilation fan was clogged.
Yeah.
I cleaned it out, and it was important to do preventative maintenance.
Exactly.
Mm.
It shows you can think critically under pressure and you take initiative.
Right.
This is where that AI from RoleCatcher comes in handy.
Okay. How so?
You can practice answering these tough questions
Oh, wow.
and get feedback that is specific to the job you're applying for.
So it's like having an interview coach in your pocket.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the question? How do you clean and maintain the blender? That seems pretty basic.
It might seem basic, but you got to show that you understand hygiene and, caring for equipment in food production.
All right, of course.
So be detailed.
Okay.
Tell them your routine step by step.
Okay.
Specific cleaning solutions.
Mm-hmm.
How you take it apart, how you make sure it's dry and sanitized.
So if I mentioned that I have special techniques to prevent staining or mineral buildup in those hard-to-reach places, that shows I'm really detail-oriented.
Exactly.
Right.
You're showing that you understand how to keep a clean and sanitary work environment.
Right.
And RoleCatcher's AI can actually compare your answer to industry best practices.
Oh, wow.
And even suggest additional steps for the specific role.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's all about giving you that edge.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Quality control.
Okay.
How do you ensure the quality of the blended products?
So here's where you understand those standards and specifications in food production.
Okay.
It's more than just making sure it tastes good.
Right.
You got to show how you monitor that blending process for consistency.
Okay.
How you check the texture, the viscosity, and using tools to make sure you're meeting those recipe requirements.
Right.
Here.
So using, specific terminology like I use a calibrated refractometer to check the sugar content, making sure it falls within that range.
Perfect.
That shows I'm detail-oriented.
Exactly.
Right.
You're highlighting your precision and your understanding of quality control.
Got it.
You can even mention if you have experience with sensory evaluation,
Like taste testing.
Yeah, like taste testing.
Or visual inspections.
Exactly.
Okay.
To show you're really committed to quality.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what if they ask, tell us about your experience with different types of blenders?
Okay.
And I've only worked with one type.
Don't panic.
Okay.
Focus on those transferable skills.
Okay.
Even if you've only used one, you've still got experience with operating procedures, safety protocols, and getting consistent results.
Okay.
Highlight that you're willing to learn new equipment.
So something like, I've primarily worked with these high-volume industrial blenders, but I'm a fast learner, and I'm confident I can master any model with the right training.
Exactly. You're showing you're adaptable and ready to learn. You can even mention, I've done some research on different blenders, or I'm familiar with the basics.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great tips.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you deal with a busy work environment?
Okay.
What if they ask, how do you prioritize tasks when you're operating a blender in a really busy environment?
All right. This is all about organization and time management under pressure.
Right.
So describe those strategies you use to stay on top of things.
Okay.
Maybe you prioritize based on urgency, you make a schedule.
Right.
But you stay flexible to deal with those unexpected problems.
And don't forget communication.
Yes. Communication is key.
So I always check in with my colleagues to see if they need help and to let them know how I'm doing.
Exactly. You're a team player.
Yes.
And you value communication in a fast-paced environment.
Makes sense.
And RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you identify those potential bottlenecks or challenges in the environment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So incorporate those into your answer to show that you're aware of what the role demands.
So it really does sound like that AI is a game changer.
It can be really helpful.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of pressure, how would you answer? Describe a time when you had to work under pressure while operating a blender.
Ooh, pick a specific story that shows how you stay calm and how good you are at solving problems.
Okay.
So maybe during a busy time, the blender broke down.
Oh, no.
So you describe how you stayed calm, how you communicated the issue, found a temporary fix while you were waiting for maintenance.
Right.
So you minimize that delay.
You just got to stay focused and adapt.
Exactly.
Right.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help refine your answer.
Okay.
Suggesting keywords or phrases, that align with the company's values.
So you can really tailor it.
Yeah, you can make it really specific.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk recipes.
Okay.
How do you ensure that you are following recipe guidelines while operating a blender?
So here, accuracy and attention to detail are super important.
Of course.
Don't just say, I read the recipe.
Right.
Talk about how you double-check those measurements, verify ingredients, make sure everything is added in the right order at the right time.
So something like, I use a digital scale.
Yes.
I double-check the recipe before every ingredient. I have a checklist to make sure I'm following every step.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're showing that you're meticulous and you are committed to those procedures.
Right.
You can even mention strategies to avoid getting distracted or making mistakes.
Like what?
Like, working in a certain area with no interruptions.
Yeah, makes sense.
It all helps paint the picture of someone who takes their work seriously.
Right. Takes pride in their work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. And speaking of quality, RoleCatcher's AI can help you there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can actually identify any quality control measures or, documentation procedures that company really cares about.
Oh, wow.
So you can tailor your answer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to communication.
Okay.
How do you answer the question? How do you communicate with your team when operating a blender?
All right. So good communication is key in any kind of production environment.
Right.
Especially a busy one.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about how you convey information clearly and concisely, actively listen to your colleagues, and address any concerns respectfully.
Right.
It's not just about shouting over the noise.
Right. So something like, I use hand signals while the blender's running, and I make sure to communicate clearly during huddles or shift changes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It shows you're aware of safety and you can adapt your communication style.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, switching gears a bit, let's talk about career growth.
Okay.
I was looking through RoleCatcher's career guide for blender operators, and it's really interesting to see all the different paths you can take.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just a job, it's a whole career.
Right.
You can start as a trainee, move up to junior and senior blender operator, and even become a supervisor.
Wow.
Each step has more responsibilities,
Okay.
From assisting those senior operators to managing production yourself.
Wow.
And even training new people.
So you could start by learning the basics, then move on to running the equipment yourself, and eventually even be in charge of training new team members.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And as you gain more experience, your responsibilities grow.
Right.
You can even start suggesting improvements.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And the guide gives you real examples of what people actually do in these roles.
Oh, wow.
So you can really see where you could go.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
I also noticed RoleCatcher really emphasizes continuous learning.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Even after you get the job, it's important to stay up to date.
Absolutely. The beverage industry is constantly changing.
Oh, yeah.
Taking courses or going to conferences, on new ingredients or new technologies that can really make you stand out.
It shows you're dedicated.
Exactly. It shows that commitment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to those tough interview questions.
Okay.
The one everyone hates, the salary question.
Oh, yeah.
How do you handle, what are your salary expectations?
Do your research first.
Okay.
RoleCatcher has salary data.
Oh, cool.
It can show you the typical range for blender operators in your area with your level of experience.
Got it.
And then don't be afraid to give a range, not just a specific number.
Okay, so something like, based on my experience and what I've seen in the industry, I'm looking for a salary between X and Y. But I'm definitely open to talking more depending on the details of the role and the whole compensation package.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're showing you're flexible and ready to negotiate.
Makes sense.
You know your worth, but you're open to conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, another tricky one.
Yeah.
Why are you interested in this particular company?
Okay.
How do you answer that?
Research.
Right.
Research.
Okay.
Don't just look at their website.
Right.
Find news articles.
Press releases, employee testimonials.
Wow.
Get a sense of their values, their culture, their achievements.
Okay.
And then you want to show a real interest in what they do and how your skills fit their goals.
Right.
Yeah.
So something like, I'm really impressed by your commitment to sustainability and your focus on using natural ingredients.
Yeah.
My passion for creating those high-quality, healthy beverages really aligns with your vision.
Perfect.
Okay.
You've done your homework and you're showing that your values match theirs.
Yeah.
It makes your interest feel genuine.
Right. It's not just a generic answer.
Exactly.
Okay. And RoleCatcher can be helpful here too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The AI can actually pinpoint things that the company is doing.
Wow.
That, resonate with you.
Oh,
So you can make your answer even more personal and compelling.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It helps you stand out by showing you really care.
Right. You've done your research.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about the big one.
What is your greatest weakness?
Everyone gets nervous about this one.
Yeah, for sure.
The key is to choose a weakness that's relevant, but not a deal breaker.
Right.
And show how you're working on it.
Okay.
So for example, you could say, sometimes I can get too focused on the details, which can slow me down when things need to move quickly. But I'm learning to prioritize and delegate when it's appropriate.
So you're being honest, but you're also showing that you're self-aware and you're trying to improve.
Exactly. You're turning that weakness into a positive.
Right.
By showing your commitment to growth.
I like that.
Yeah, and RoleCatcher's AI can help here too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can actually identify those potential weaknesses
Based on your experience?
based on your skills and your experience.
Yeah, okay.
And give you suggestions for framing your answer.
So it highlights your strengths.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the end of the interview.
Okay.
And the interviewer says, do you have any questions for us?
Oh, right.
What's the best way to handle that?
This is your chance to show you're interested
Okay.
and that you really want the job.
Right.
Don't just say no.
Okay.
Have a few good questions ready.
Okay, so avoid those questions you can easily Google.
Yes,
And
exactly.
focus on things that show, I understand the company,
Yeah.
the industry,
Yeah.
specific role.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you could ask, what are the biggest challenges facing the company in the next year?
Oh, that's a good one.
Or what opportunities are there for professional development and advancement?
Okay.
You know, it shows you're thinking long term and you want to contribute and grow.
Yeah, those are great examples.
Yeah.
It really shows you want to be part of the team.
Exactly.
Okay.
And remember, RoleCatcher has tons of sample questions in their guides
Oh, perfect.
that you can use and adapt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we've covered a lot today, from understanding what a blender operator does to nailing those interview questions
Yeah.
and even looking at career growth. It's been a really great deep dive into this field.
It really has. And RoleCatcher's resources have been so helpful in guiding us through it all.
Yeah, they really have.
But there's one more thing we need to talk about before we finish up industry trends.
Oh, you're right.
Industry trends, yeah.
Right. Getting the job's just the first step.
Exactly.
Got to think about the future of flavored water.
Yeah.
How you can really make it in this industry.
Yeah.
What trends should people be aware of?
So the beverage world is always changing.
Yeah, for sure.
And RoleCatcher's guide highlights this big shift
Okay.
towards healthier drinks.
Mm-hmm.
People want natural, low-calorie options.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
And that creates a huge opportunity for skilled blender operators.
Right. So it's not just mixing anymore.
Yeah.
It's about making those healthier, tastier drinks
Exactly.
that people really want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine creating the next big low-sugar hit.
Right.
Or coming up with crazy new flavor combinations
Yeah.
with natural ingredients.
Absolutely. You could even specialize.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a certain type of drink.
Okay.
Or become the expert in natural flavors and additives.
Well,
There's so much room to be creative,
yeah.
to experiment with new techniques,
Mm-hmm.
and help make a healthier generation.
It's amazing to think that blender operators aren't just blending.
Yeah.
They're shaping the whole industry.
Right.
And RoleCatcher gives us the tools to navigate that.
Absolutely. Their resources have links to all sorts of things.
Like what?
Industry publications, professional organizations, even online forums, so you
Right.
can connect with other people
Okay.
and stay up to date.
That's really helpful.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
As you start your journey as a blender operator,
Mm-hmm.
remember, you're not just making a drink.
Okay.
You're creating an experience,
Right.
a moment of refreshment and enjoyment for someone.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every sip is a testament to your skill, your precision,
Yeah.
your creativity.
It really is.
That's such a cool way to think about it.
Yeah.
And with everyone wanting healthier, more innovative drinks,
Right.
you have the power to really make a difference.
Yeah. One delicious drink at a time.
Exactly.
So when you go into that interview,
Mhm.
show them your passion, your knowledge, your commitment to making amazing beverages.
Right.
The future of flavored water is in your hands.
Wow, that's inspiring.
It's exciting.
It really is.
Blend your talents, embrace the challenges,
Okay.
and make that interview your own.
I love it.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there every step of the way.
Yeah, they've been a great help.
With the resources and support you need to succeed.
Awesome.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
Mhm.
and keep blending.
Cheers to that